Alright, so at this point, I think it might just be routine that I get the urge to make a video while skating. And I kind of just felt like making a bit of a follow up to my last video. Okay, so I should have expected this, but like last time, I couldn't really find a spot where I felt comfortable recording outside, which I feel like would be a cool aesthetic, but at the same time, my webcam is good enough. But anyway, as I was saying, I kind of wanted to make a follow up to my last video because even though like I explained some of these stories very broadly, I think there's just a more interesting topic that I can zero in on, which is, as the title says, like the people that I've dated, the very few relationships that I've been in. Those people have like an unbelievably evil friend, like the worst people who I've ever met before. And like kind of in an outrageous way as well. So I think it would be interesting to tell that story. And also because I'm just enjoying making videos again. I'll probably start my other channels again as well. But I want to start with a story that I did talk about last time, which was my first ex and her friend who was constantly trying to get her to cheat on me just because she hated me and thought that my ex could do better. And I think I kind of explained it a little bit, but yeah, what would happen was pretty much like we would hang out, me and my ex, we would hang out a lot in the lobby of our dorm at the time. This was a freshman dorm, so I don't actually, that detail doesn't really matter, but there's an area at the bottom with like couches and shit. We would hang out there, and yeah, one of her friends, or it was like a group of friends, would always be there, and we would talk to them. And just this one girl in particular really hated me, never even explained why. I think she just thought that I was ugly. That was the only thing that she had actually said specifically about why she hated me. Just that I was ugly and that my ex could do better. So, pretty much what she would try to do constantly was convince my ex to go to a frat party with her and just cheat on me with one of the frat guys, which I didn't explain this last time, but the thing is about my college is the particular frat that's in question here has like multiple rape cases against them. It's like the most horrific shit in the world. Like genuinely, it isn't even allegations at this point. Like some of it is definitely true. Some of it is probably allegations, but some of it's definitely true. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Anyway, she would constantly try to convince her to go to one of those parties so she could cheat on me, which, as I also mentioned, that isn't really what ended up happening. What ended up happening was just she broke up with me in a way where she just wrote down everything that she thought was wrong with me. And some of it was like very hurtful stuff. But what had ended up happening afterwards was because I wasn't because we didn't really hate each other or anything, we hung out like a few days later in that same lobby, and that girl who was the problem showed up and just saw us sitting together and just straight up went for me because I guess my ex was still sitting there with me, like went for me, telling her that she didn't need me, but also just yelling at me. It was really weird. It was really late at night and I don't really remember it that much. But I just remember being very close to like yelling back, but then just saying like saying like, "Do you want me to get mad? Like you're about to really piss me off." And then my ex basically said like, "No, no, it's okay. Let her keep talking." She told me to back off, pretty much. And that was the moment where I'm like, "Yeah, this relationship definitely is not going to work out." So yeah, at that point, I just straight up skedaddled. I went back to my room and I went to sleep. Of course, that wasn't really the end of that situation. But yeah, like about that friend, she literally, the thing is about her, right? And her connections to the frat party and shit like that. She's the type of person who literally had like 27 guys, and all of them thought that they were dating her. She was just cheating on 27 people at once. Like, they all thought that they were her boyfriend. But really, yeah, I don't need to go into any more detail. That's like, besides just my situation involving that girl, like, that's kind of just. I feel like that's a problem. I don't know. That's kind of a fucking. That's a crazy amount of people to be cheating on at once. But at the same time, I'm sure they were probably doing the same thing. That's kind of just how I imagine people like that are. Like, if someone is cheating on you with 27 other guys, I can't imagine that you aren't going to figure it out. So they probably just didn't care because they were like cucks or something like that. But anyway, the next semester, like, that ex would still try to use me as emotional support. And the thing is, right, this isn't really that relevant to the topic because her friend in question here isn't evil, but I also think that it's really interesting because of what I'm going to talk about later. Because, yeah, my ex, she still wouldn't leave me alone exactly. She always wanted to talk to me about whatever problem she was having, and for some reason I listened, even though she did that messed up shit to me. But pretty much what was happening was every guy that she liked or had a crush on after me, she would try to pursue them. That was the thing, right? She wasn't just someone who waited for guys to come to her or whatever. She would actively pursue guys. She would ask guys out. She asked me out. That was how we ended up together. She just straight up asked me out. And because at that time I had never been with anyone, I was like, sure. Even though I didn't really know her at the time. But yeah, what kept happening was she would try to be pursuing these guys, and then her friend, who's a different friend than the evil one, would basically just steal them. Because I guess those guys were more attracted to her friend. And usually what would end up happening was her friend would just straight up have sex with whatever guy my ex liked. And the thing is, right, this parallels the next story involving a different girl. A girl who I broke up with very recently. Like, this story is probably so recent, all of this, that I shouldn't tell it because I'm still going to have to see these people on some level. But I also literally don't give a shit, and I just want to make an interesting video because that sounds fun. And because I don't give a shit about that, I give a shit about not getting kicked out of school. Sorry, I'm in kind of a mood right now, if it isn't obvious. But pretty much, January, in my math class, I met a girl who, how that ended was basically we dated from February to April, so a few weeks ago. Sorry. Anyway, the thing is, she has a friend who is very similar to the friend in question that I was just talking about, but to even a worse extent, because the thing is, her friend did this exact same thing like at least 10 times, and it's to the point where I'll explain it later, but I was almost going to be next on the chopping block. If I were like those other guys, then I would have been. But yeah, that girl who, my other ex, my most recent ex, she basically, whenever she would like a guy, her friend, who's like her actual best friend and constantly wants to be around her and will get upset if she hangs out with anyone else besides her, by the way, would always be like, hey, I want to meet the guy that you're talking to. That sounds interesting. And then same shit would happen. She would just pursue the guy that her friend was going for. And I ended up like sort of being one of the guys. Once again, I didn't allow that to happen because, yeah, what happened was me and that girl, my ex, we weren't dating at this point, but like we were more than friends, and her friend, her evil friend, came to visit and basically tried to do the exact same thing to less of an extent because I think she realized how much of a piece of shit she was being by just trying to steal every guy from her friend just because. And also, there's a really messed up detail to all of this, which is that she has a boyfriend who she basically is just cheating on by doing all this. She has a boyfriend who, like, how do I say this? He doesn't allow it necessarily. He fucking hates that she cheats on him, but he knows about it, and he just has admitted before that he doesn't leave because he doesn't think anyone else will ever date him. So he just allows it to happen despite feeling terrible about it. And that dude also, that boyfriend, like, I've met him before. He's really nice, but he's, like, pretty severely autistic. Like, it's straight up abuse. It's straight up abuse what's going on there. But yeah, what had happened was when me and my ex were like just at a point of being more than friends, but we weren't together at all, her friend once again visited her, tried to sort of do the same thing to me. I wasn't really paying attention to it, to be honest. I knew that it was going to happen, that she was going to try to hit on me on some level. I wasn't receptive to any of it. And then that girl who I ended up dating, after, she was like, no, like, she was really, I guess, eternally grateful for me for being the one guy who didn't leave her for her friend who is cheating on her boyfriend and also has herpes, by the way. Her friend has herpes. I need to shut up. Anyway, but all of what I'm saying is true. This is all a true story. Anyway, so what had ended up happening in that situation was they both stayed with me in this exact room. So, like, on some level, I was really uncomfortable, but also I was like, hey, wait, I feel kind of cool right now having, like, two girls in my room who both on some level like me. But also, the uncomfortable factor definitely outweighed the cool factor. And also the, like, this person is probably the worst person I've ever met before in my life. Let me think of what else she did. And keep in mind, right, this evil friend, I've known about her for 2.5 months. And so the stuff that I'm saying is just the stuff that I know. So she also assaulted somebody. That's kind of all the specific things that she's done. But yeah, in a way, this also kind of fucked up our relationship, because the thing is, right, the girl that I was with, the way that she was with, or the way that she acted around that evil friend is completely different than her normal personality. And that really would mess me up whenever I would be forced to hang out with her evil friend, because then it didn't just feel like I was with my girlfriend. Once again, we got together a little bit after that visit. It didn't feel like I was with my girlfriend and her evil friend. It felt like I was with someone I barely even felt like I knew anymore, and her evil friend. It sounds really tame, really mild, but it kind of really messed me up in a way, because yeah, it was like I couldn't even trust my girlfriend anymore at all. She didn't feel like someone I could talk to whenever we were around this friend. And then obviously her friend is just the worst, and it was pretty sickening. That wasn't really why we ended up breaking up. I don't want to tell that story for a long time, because once again, it was only a few weeks ago, and also it's just like, since it's fresh, if I think about it too hard, I get like panic attacks and shit like that. Even just recently, like, I had to, right before I recorded my last video, actually, I had to go home for my own mental health, and that's why I'm failing my classes right now. I actually tried to record that same video before going home for my mental health, but then I scrapped it because I wasn't really taking care of myself during that time. So I looked really horrifying. Like, usually I don't care about that, but the thing is, it's like my skin was really bad because I wasn't taking care of myself. Like, let me think of what else. My hair was really bad because I wasn't taking care of myself. I just looked like I was dredged up from some kind of swamp. But for the record, I'm doing better now, and now my main priority is just to not fail school. Or if I do, then I'll just go do some other shit. I got my license over the summer, but like, I didn't ever drive after getting it. So that's going to be my plan over this summer, is to get comfortable driving, and then I can go wherever I want. So yeah, things are kind of looking up. Things, obviously, once again, I'm not in the most stable place right now, but I'm feeling pretty good, and I enjoyed talking about all of that. Because, how do I say this? Like, those stories, the way that it is for me is the more people that I bitch and moan to about it, I start to feel slightly better. So I've told that to a few people now, and now I'm telling it to you guys. And yeah, those are some of the most evil people I've ever met. And of course, they have to be really closely associated with people who I thought that I loved. And of course, by thinking that I love them, I had to be constantly around the most evil people in the world. And by being around the most evil people in the world, it started to make me feel really terrible about the relationships. Or in the first case, it led to the relationship ending and then never getting back on track, and I just, fuck all these people. These people suck. These people are trashy. Maybe I need to just stop getting involved with people who are associated with the trashiest people in the world. But at the same time, But at the same time, maybe that means that I'm trashy or something. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know why this shit keeps happening to me. But at the same time, I also don't have regrets doing this. Because if you watch my channel, right, during 2024 when I made it, like, I feel like I was way more, all my videos were way more bleak. I seemed a lot more depressed, just being somebody who felt like I was never wanted by anyone, even as a friend. I didn't even have friends. At least I felt like. I had a couple of friends, but I felt like I had no friends. So even now, going through like this fucking chaos and having to deal with these really scummy people, I feel so much better than just never having any experience with anyone. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe I should have just found a way to be content with feeling inexperienced and feeling like I was behind for someone my age. And by the way, I don't think I need to mention this in every video. I just turned 20 like about a month ago. When I started this channel, I was 17. I know, I'm old. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the chaos in a way. It's not something I like admitting. On some level, I enjoy drama, but it also weighs down on me really heavily, especially when I care about somebody who's involved in it. Like, because I was emotionally attached to my most recent ex, hearing about her friend being that horrible to her, like, whatever stress she probably felt during that time, obviously I didn't feel the same emotions, but it weighed down on me so much because I just cared about her so much. So knowing that these things happened to her, it's hard. And now after this, I feel like I can't be in a relationship for a long time. Just mentally, I don't think I can handle it. I think it's too much for me. And that's not to say that I'm always going to be in a relationship with someone like this who constantly has fucked up things happen to them by a person that I'm also going to have to be around. Like, it seems pretty unique in a way that this happened twice in a row, and also with my only 2 relationships. But I guess that's something that you kind of have to be prepared for. And I was not prepared for that. I was definitely not prepared to meet my life partner, in the sense that I wasn't prepared to accept somebody no matter what happens, no matter what comes with them. I found it too stressful, and it was too much for me. And that's where I'm at now. I feel a lot better now. I don't know if this video was interesting at all. I don't know if what I said makes sense. See, once again, now I'm starting to get back into my old routine where I just rant like a motherfucker and then upload it and then never watch it again because I have no idea if what I said was even cohesive. But I don't know, people used to like my videos, and my video recently did pretty well. So hopefully this one does well too. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go edit this now, even though my editing is being kind of weird. But yeah. Goodbye.